So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I still see there are some glitches in the recording. I'm still gonna keep recording because because of first of all time and second of all productivity. Because when I do just have the time, which is the fucked up part, I just use the time, which is something you totally shouldn't be doing because it's the thing is, I can produce everything. Not exactly 2 episodes, but only 1 episode. But I can just handle making 1 episode, the whole posts, putting it on Anchor in terms of the podcast, because I'm using Anchor. It's an incredible platform and it has incredible support as well, because it was actually, I think, the first time I've ever used a support site or the support service of any fucking platform out there. But they responded in quite a few hours actually. It was quite great and it was useful. It was a useful answer, and it was an answer, which was something that I didn't really expect. That I was, thinking like, okay, they will just respond like, yeah, we actually don't know. But they actually gave me a pretty good answer. But I just see that I should totally be making it a little bit lighter here and brighter here. Besides that, we are actually going to discuss the Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk, so the man himself. It is a pretty old book, as I remember correctly. It is. I still think that he still has the 10 book contract with a company or with whatever, which is great. I would like to write books as well. I think I probably will even make a free ebook. This was something I've been thinking while I was taking a shit actually, which was quite funny. But I guess it is something I could be doing totally. Because I maybe do have the time. I can do it just when I'm in the train, or when I'm just moving around and I'm at home, or just in terms or in times I do not actually know what I could be doing, because I'm still too truly wasting a lot of time actually, because I haven't been doing quite much today. I still just when I do have the time, I should pretty much do it like I take my time for doing everything. I think this is not the best thing you could do. Stressing yourself out is on the other side also not that good, but just moving on as fast as you can without wasting too much time is a good thing, and without just having too much leisure time is a good thing. But as I was talking about in the last episode as well, you should just have some kind of breaks in between your work hours or your work blocks, because I think it is in terms of my experience and what I've been dealing with. I tend to not be so efficient if I do just work without actual pauses in between or breaks in between, which fucks my productivity a little bit. But besides that, I initially wanted to say something else, I guess. No. We will discuss the Thank You Economy, which is a fairly old book, I think, by Gary V. I still think, and he was talking about it in a quite recent podcast episode of him, and I still do listen to his podcast and watch his videos quite often besides working actually, because it tends to be pretty good besides working. Most of the time I just feel like, okay, listening to music or listening to people I don't know, as I know in terms of I haven't been listening to them before, doesn't work for me. Some kind of music does sometimes. It depends on what music I'm listening to, definitely. But if I listen to just some random YouTube videos, I tend to get some kind of distracted, which is something I totally don't want while working. But as I said, this is a fairly old book, I think, but there are still great insights, and so therefore, and also because it's not not much, and I hope that I will go through this in this episode, that everything is okay. So the Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk is an insight into the changing platform of marketing. Vaynerchuk emphasizes the importance of social media in any business venture. He debunks common criticism and offers useful strategies. Vaynerchuk explains just how important company culture and employee happiness is in the road to running a successful business. The Thank You Economy has an entire section dedicated to real-life examples of companies putting the Thank You Economy into action, how using social media transformed their business. Which is something I know from Gary because he actually did it in, I think it was Crush It, actually, or Crushing It, I don't know, or one of these twos. He actually did the same thing. He always just explained everything with real life examples in terms of pretty much good advertising or good social media posts, pretty much in terms of real life posts companies did, and he then explained what is good about it, what is not so good about it. Often it wasn't too clear, so the introduction. Who is the summary for? The summary is ideal for everyone involved in or interested in the marketing world. The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk is an insight into the changing blah 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 blah. I think I do not have to read it, even though the last few sentences are always a little bit different than the other ones, but the start is always the same. But yeah, about the author, Gary Vaynerchuk is an entrepreneur. Not only has he written 4 incredibly successful bestsellers, he also is the co-founder and CEO of VaynerMedia. He runs a podcast and is increasingly sought after for public speaking. With a history in e-commerce and online marketing, his focus is on the internet, social media, and the ever-changing digital world. In the summary, first we will briefly address Vaynerchuk's term, Thank You Economy, and explain what this is. Then we will dive into a summary of social media and its role in business. Next we will discuss how Vaynerchuk recommends you can use social media to your advantage, why innovation is necessary, and we will end with a few social media mistakes you need to avoid. And this is definitely something I'm looking for because I think I get still a lot out of it, even though it's quite a fairly old book. But I think, his knowledge is just immense in terms of business, social media, marketing, and all this stuff. And therefore, I just hope and I think that I will get something out of it. Definitely. So, what is the Thank You Economy? Vaynerchuk explains the importance of relationship and the impact they have on our lives and our habits. He explains that business is just an extension of our personal relationship. I think totally just being nice in business as well is also just a really great factor of having a great business or a successful business, and having a good relationship to your customers and your employees, especially your employees, because they work for you and you should be the best person towards them or for them you could be, not fucking with them, not just being unpolite to them and such things. So real business isn't done in board meetings, it's done over a half-eaten plate of buffalo wings at the sports bar or during the intermission of a Broadway show. Vaynerchuk's point is that we spend our time with people we have relationships with, and we want to purchase from and support people and businesses we like as well. Social media has offered a platform that allows customers to create a relationship with businesses and brands. It will feel like an extension of the real life relationships, and they can interact with these brands the same way they do the family or close friends, or they do with the family and close friends, which is definitely right. Through social media, we are all able to just, connect with, big brands like Gucci. Just writing them a DM is totally, okay, and it's totally, you're totally able to do it. Another thing would be if they just respond. I don't know, I guess not. But, the possibility is there, and without social media, you could have just written a letter, but, okay, you could have just written a letter. It feels like I've read that one. Vaynerchuk emphasizes the way social media has changed, the way we perceive companies and brands. The lines have been blurred. Social media, there really is no escaping social media in the current business climate, and Vaynerchuk emphasizes the importance that brands and companies learn how to use it to their advantage. It is something I'm not quite sure about. I do just know businesses that are not on social media. I do kind of feel like, okay, if there were, they would just make a lot more money and they would have gotten more exposure totally, because everyone is on social media nowadays, The focus just, shifted from being or advertising on, I don't know, on the streets, on posters on the streets, or just on cars actually, on those things, to really on social media and just, really providing not like maybe newspapers or just, some kind of magazine kind of stuff, but really just posts on Instagram. This is something that makes sense for me because, there will always be some shifts, the next time, which I'm just pretty looking forward to or pretty excited for, is when everything shifts away from social media and there is something new. I don't know, maybe it is just, virtual reality, social media kind of thing where you're actually going around and can interact with people just really just, face to face, which will definitely be just something pretty fucking interesting. And which is definitely something that I'm pretty looking forward, because I think this then is pretty fucking interesting, if you can really just interact with the people. And yeah. But I do also think on one side that companies who are not on social media or do not even want to be on social media, there is quite a funny story. I think I have been telling you this one again before, but I was actually on my way because I was like, yeah, I want to have my own social media marketing agency. Like this hype there's going on right now. Everybody has his own social media agency. You can make thousands of dollars by just making for them some social media stuff and just posting their shit and so on, which is definitely something I kind of believe in. I do think, yeah, businesses will pay you for just simply posting posts on their social media platform, because first of all, and especially advertising, because advertising is definitely something that's not easy. Definitely not. And being good at it is just also some kind of new chapter. You can be able to do it in terms of actually technically being able to do, but actually understanding it and being able to do it probably is a whole new chapter. I've been looking into the Facebook advertising manager and business manager, and it was pretty overwhelming, even though the actual ad making and ad organization and just making it to run is fairly easy. It is pretty intuitive with all the icons and all the options you have, and there are also some helpers, and Facebook can definitely help you with that. But in general, yeah, just besides that, just look it up on YouTube if you like to have tutorials to go through with you, or just Google it and read articles on it. We have all the fucking things, like information and knowledge for actually doing everything we want. Maybe not actually building a rocket or building something else because that's a little bit too high top I think. But maybe even there's somebody who is actually making videos on how to build rockets, maybe small ones, but how it is theoretically working. But besides that, what I wanted to say is that I went to a guy. He's a little. It isn't quite a little. It's some kind of coffee, and they're just actually roasting their own beans in my area right there. It's just pretty near to my my place where I live. Actually, I went into his place, and then I went to the actual employees of him, and they have some kind of cakes and coffees, and the old coffee shop, not coffee shop, but they're actually coffee shop. I don't know. It is a little coffee. It was a little coffee, and I went there, asked for the chef or for the boss actually, and then I went to the boss and asked him, yeah, whether I could make him an Instagram page, or I've been like, I've seen that you do not have a Facebook page or Instagram page or some shit like this. I actually said not shit like this, but I said like, yeah, you don't have one. I could make you one for free. I would do it for free, and I wanted to do it for free because before other people who just are willing to buy your service or pay for your service will pay for it, you do just have to have testimonials. At my point of view, you can't be like, yeah, okay, just pay me $500 every month and I'll do this for you. They won't be like, yeah, okay, I'll give you my money, my hard-earned money, and do something with it. Totally not, I think. And so therefore having testimonials and actual people you have, work for free and you can then show to the actual customers of yours, yeah, I've done it for him and I've done it for her, and I've just some kind of, and it is always about this, I've just some kind of made them more profit. It's not about you making money, but actually you making more profit for your customers, so that you actually can be like, yeah, okay, even raise your fucking service fees, actually, because if you're just so good at what you're doing in terms of advertising or actually posting or whatever, they will just be okay. Yeah, we just pay you more if you give us more, for it. It's just always the same. But he was like, yeah, no, he doesn't want to do anything with Zuckerberg, and he was actually naming Zuckerberg himself, which is a funny thing. But he was like, no, he doesn't want this kind of stuff, and he's not. It sounded for me like he wasn't old, but he was a little older. Let's say he was a little older guy, and I could definitely feel like his kind of not disgust, but he wasn't feeling like, this is something he needs or this is something he wants. But yeah, this was just an amazing kind of experience, because I then just have seen that a lot of people actually in the business world do just not want to have social media, even though they clearly, or maybe don't actually clearly see the advantages you can have with having an actual social media page, because it's first of all it's not that hard of a work in terms of actually posting it and making the posts. For me, actually, for people who do not have anything to do with it, they might be like, yeah, okay, it's hard work and I do not want to do it because it's just wasting my time or whatever. I understand this, but actually advertising, which is something I by now I'm not able to do, I just don't know quite or don't know exactly how I can do it, but I will learn it. I think I will just have to learn it, and I want to learn it as well. But this is actually something complicated. But I'm actually 20 minutes in, haven't done anything. Oh, fuck, man. Okay, let's go ahead. The goal is for all brands should be to be as authentic as possible online and be able to build relationship with customers that feel personal and just like a friendship. Vaynerchuk explains that this is important no matter the size of the brand or company. This relationship is the one you need to nurture. Social media is the perfect platform to create those close connections with customers and learn more about them. Give them the ability to let you know what they want and how they use your products. This will only enable you to build better products and more suitable to your audience. Totally. Vaynerchuk stresses the importance of these one-to-one relationships and how a business, if you're not already on board, you need to adapt fast, which means that you should actually have social media fast. Social media has altered everything about how companies must, I think, relate to their customers. Social media is big, and it's definitely big. I've just looked at some statistics and some data from actual, overall social media. It was just, sliced up in I think, Instagram. LinkedIn has actually a lot of daily users. I didn't know that. I think it was actually 500 million a day. If I've seen that correctly, yeah, it should be a day, I think. Which is incredibly. I didn't think there are so many users on LinkedIn. Maybe because the platform is now a little bit different than it was used to, or than it used to be, because they do just have some kind of e-learning as well and other things, which is just interesting. And I think they just, did a pretty good move in terms of actually getting more viewers and or more consumers or actually participants on their platform in the last few years, I think. Business and adapting. Vaynerchuk explains that the concept of, besides that, Instagram has 1 billion per day and Facebook even a little bit more, actually, which was something I didn't know. I thought Facebook, there are just some people, and I do not actually focus on Facebook at all, because I quite don't like or dislike the platform itself, because I'm not quite familiar to it. I haven't been using it, never ever, and therefore I quite rely the most on Instagram, but I do just still post on every other platform as well. Bu- 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 bu. The concept of the thank you economy, although can be attributed to the presence of social media, isn't only about social media. It's a much bigger movement. Vaynerchuk believes that it was driven by a wave of customers feeling like their voices weren't being heard. They didn't want to be ignored any longer. They wanted to build relationships with brands so that they felt their needs would be met. The thank you economy explains how businesses must learn to adapt their marketing strategies to take advantage of platforms that have completely transformed consumer culture and society as a whole. You can't wait any longer. Vaynerchuk describes a portion of corporate America who haven't committed to social media, who still believe that the numbers and things they used to do will continue to deliver. They are playing a waiting game, waiting to see what's next and whether social media can really deliver. First to market in this hyper-fast world has impact. Okay, don't understand that. However, the time is now. Vaynerchuk explains that by waiting for the evidence to fall into your lap, you're missing countless opportunities, definitely, because you can still see that maybe Instagram is declining in organic reach, and therefore you just have to pay more and more and more to actually just reach all the people, which then be more expensive. And actual Facebook is not expensive compared to actual billboards and all this kind of stuff. But it will be getting expensiver and more expensive. Actually, expensiver isn't an actual word, but it will get more expensive and more expensive and more expensive over time. And if you just kind of miss the opportunity, you will be fucked. After that, social media won't be such a good deal as it is now, and then you're fucked, and then you're like, okay, you fucked it up. Business need to use social media now. It's the only way they will keep up with overtake their competitors. Sorry, definitely, because if every competitor of yours is just using social media, and you clearly have the data that social media is a thing. If you're dismissing this, I think you're just living in another world. Just having 1 billion users every single day on one platform is amazing. It's a more crowded space, and a space where you can just reach people just more easily and just more directly than you could have ever been able to. With billboards you can just attract or just kind of speak to maybe a lot of people, yeah, but they just drive by and they won't see anything of your fucking billboard. And with social media you can just be quite sure that people will see it. It always depends on how much attention grabbing it is or eye catching it is. But besides that, you can be sure that only people see it that might be interested in it. You won't just kind of run ads for people who are not in your target audience. But with billboards, you just have to put it there or there or there, and just have to deal with what people just come by. I still don't want to say that, with billboards everything was fucked and it's completely shit. No, it was a good deal then, I think. I don't know. I'm not educated in the space, but and I also think, yeah, there were certain billboards where certain people came by, and you could just be like, okay, I use this and that billboard and this and that design especially, and these people will just come by and these people will see it. Yeah, you could definitely been able to do this or to just be like it, but with social media you're just so direct, and so you can choose your target audience with age, with ethic, with religion, with all these things, which is just incredible. However, the time is now. Vaynerchuk explains that by waiting to develop. I've read that. Right now, I would say that social media is a bit like a kidney. You can survive with only one, but your chances of making it to old age are a lot better with two. Eventually, though, I think social media will be as important to a business as a strong heart. Don't dismiss social media. Vaynerchuk describes the countless excuses that companies and brands use to defend their choice to avoid social media. We will briefly cover them here. Social media has no ROI, which is return of investment, which is total bullshit. You can just send everything through a funnel, and just you can actually just make an advertisement so that people buy your fucking product, and then your ROI is just really big. Besides that, branding, it just hasn't to be always about selling. Branding is also a great ROI. just having more followers, having more people that watch you, people or potential customers, more potential customers, is also a great thing to have. Social media has no ROI, and Vaynerchuk explains that the ability to provide customer service on a platform that provides a one-to-one relationship is exactly what the customers are asking for. And as we all know, customers are king, and that's totally true. If you just fuck around with your customers, you can just, you're just fucking around with your business as well. There are only unreliable metrics. Well, this one is just not sure. The tools are improving rapidly, and there are plenty of ways to track your results. Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, there are just a lot of ways, I think. It's still too young. You really can't let this hold you back. There is no time to wait around to see if it can be proven. Social media is just a trend. Vaynerchuk explains that you can use this to your advantage. The platform may change from Facebook to something new, so you move too. It's hard to control the content. Yes, a customer may post a negative comment, but allowing them to have a say gives you the opportunity to reply or fix a situation. Surely that's better, and that's definitely the truth. If they just post a hate comment, or if they're hating on your company or your brand, you can be like, okay, what's wrong with our product, or with our company, or with the brand itself. I don't know. There could be so much factors of it, but you can then actually also be like, okay, we're sending you over a free product to just buy the customer some sort of, which I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm just just talking. But yeah. We don't have the time. We don't have the time and don't want to pay someone new. Well, Vaynerchuk explains that it's time and money that you really need to spend. Money makes money. Too many legal issues. Vaynerchuk responds by saying you cannot give up before you start. Definitely. And it is only applicable for startups and lifestyle brands. This really isn't true. Any brand and any product can use social media. You just have to use it in the right way. Definitely. How to make social media work for you. Success in the thank you economy hinges on obsessively caring about the customer. Yes, but a great caring culture stems from the top of a company and cascades through it like a waterfall. That's true. If the leader is just a piece of shit, the whole company is a piece of shit. Because if the leader is a piece of shit, what do you think about the company? Vaynerchuk explains that if you want your customers to feel like you have a caring culture, then you need to portray that from the inside out. Your company itself needs to be inclusive and caring. If run by a dominant leader with a reputation for bad company culture, then the customers are going to hear about this, and it will reflect badly on your brand, which is kind of called, I think. I'm not sure. What is it called? I've forgotten. Is it? I don't know. Fuck, man. Within the company, the focus should be on your employees, and this will extend out to your customers, definitely. This is something we have learned in the summary of Sam Walton and Walmart, which was pretty interesting, by the way, even though I think he still doesn't pay his employees that well. I don't think that he is the CEO anymore, besides that. But anyways, he always thought his employees are, he didn't care about them. And he only cared about his employees not his employees, but his customers, because he knew that if the customers get what they want, they will just come and buy more of his stuff or more from him. The thing was that he just actually realized that by actually, caring a little bit more about your actual employees, you make them care more about the customer. If you just have employees that fuck around with the customers because they're so unhappy with their own job, which, would make sense, some sort of, then you're just fucking your whole system. You're just, looking only at your customer and so on, but, through your employees, you just fuck everything up. So therefore, caring about your employees and giving them, a higher wage or more opportunities or whatever there are so many chances you could do that, is actually a good way to just, do better with your customers. Yeah. Why employees need to be happy. Although the customer is king, employees need to be happy and comfortable in order to be able to focus on the customers and to provide the service necessary. Just what I said. Vaynerchuk explains that employees need to be treated like adults and able to manage their own hopes as much as possible. If they feel like their needs are not being met, they will not be happy in their role, and this will translate across to the customer. The goal is to have happy, satisfied employees. This is rare. To achieve this kind of satisfaction among staff would require business leaders to engage at the same one-on-one level with their employees as with their customers. Leaders. After all the discussion on employees, it makes sense to cover leaders next. Here's how Vaynerchuk recommends you tackle being a successful leader in a thank you economy. In a thank you economy, be self-aware. This is definitely something in general, not only in terms of being a leader, but in general something that's pretty fucking important, because if you don't know what's making you happy, or if you don't know what's good for yourself, then you just may be doing just the wrong things over and over and over again, or just, all the time actually. So be self-aware. This is going to help implement a strong culture within your workplace. Definitely. Commit 100% to the job and to leadership. Yeah. Start as you intend to continue. Set the tone early and ensure that employees understand exactly what your intentions are. Definitely just let them know what's going on. People are your investments. Consider your employees as valuable investments and show them how you feel. Truth is essential. You need to hire people that you feel you'll be able to trust. These are the people who need to share your values and also be able to commit. Authenticity is everything. People know when you are faking it. And this is also something that Gary has been pretty much emphasizing in terms of social media as well. So the whole faking till you make it shit is total bullshit, and therefore, just to say it right now, I don't know shit. I'm just discussing a whole just book summary with you. I'm just trying to learn things myself and just trying to give you some knowledge of mine, or just, give you my opinion of what I'm just reading right now. So in terms of business, I don't know shit. I can only just talk about the experience I've had, in terms of myself being in this whole self-development area, and just what my experiences were and what my life was like, and just these things. But particularly in business and just having a company and all this shit, I can talk about this, or I can talk about this, but I don't know shit, because I do not have my own company. I kind of do not have my own business. If you just see YouTube and social media and the podcast as a business, then yeah, I have a business, but besides that, no, actually not. Old school media versus new school media. Vaynerchuk paints the picture of a perfect first date. In terms of old school media and versus new school media, which is some kind of billboard against social media posts or social media advertising, I kind of feel like, if your target audience is just really, 80 to 100 years old, you won't make as many social media posts. It would then be good to just send out letters or have posters or have billboards or whatever. And at my point of view, it just really only comes up to what your target audience is. If you really just as I said, have such an old group of people, such old of a focus on those old people, just having a lot of social media posts won't work, I think. So therefore, just saying, okay, social media is the thing you should be doing, isn't right either, I think, completely. Most of the time, yes, at my point of view, because who the fuck has a target audience of 99 to, 120? I think not too much people, but, actual just kinda, I don't know. So Vaynerchuk paints the picture of a perfect first date. Just because you've finished dinner doesn't mean you are ready to part. You're ready to part. You will continue over dessert or coffee, right? This is exactly what you can achieve when you combine traditional media with social media. Vaynerchuk explains that your goal should be to combine the different platforms available so your vision and story has multiple layers. Your audience can reach you in different places and the discussion can take place in different spaces. Furthermore, it's not enough to simply throw a Twitter or Facebook logo at the bottom of your ad or show facebook.com/your brand at the end of your TV commercial. Which means that I think you should just say, yeah, okay, I'm also on Twitter, I'm also on Instagram, I'm also on this and that. If you have a video, this would be good. If you are on a fucking billboard, it might be a little bit, complicated. So if the logo isn't enough, how do you bring customers to the right places? Vaynerchuk explains that you need to be creative, to do something that grabs attention and makes your customer want to see what else is going on. Imagery and text need to be creative and enticing. Is it enticing? I think it's enticing. And include your actual Facebook or Twitter address, not just a logo indicating that you have a Facebook page. Yes. Okay, makes sense. And this is something I've ironically been posting on Twitter as well, which is about creative solutions that actually get more attention and likes on especially Instagram, and I think general on social media as well. Because having creative just ways to just express things and just show things, especially in terms of making your post, there are so many ways you could make them, and therefore, my point of view, always just making the same post and the same kind of design is just, first of all, boring for you, and second of all, boring for the customer as well, because they just see the same shit over and over again. Basically the whole same shit. So at my point of view, you should always be seeking some new ways to just design things and just be creative with the things you're doing, and which is something I focus on. I've ironically been just being like, okay, I just make really creative new ways on just presenting things and just think about ways to make the imagery and the text look a little bit cooler and a little bit better and so on. I posted a picture. At the end, it turned out that this particular picture I thought would do just so great, did so enormously bad that I only had just, the least likes in a whole, in the whole month, actually. I haven't had so less likes, I think, which was just so funny. I was actually like, yeah, this will be that post. But at the end, everything was like, okay, I think this is a little bit of a setback, but never mind. Blah, 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 blah. What are your intentions? I strongly believe that if your intentions are good, it shows and it draws people to you. Good intentions create a pull. Vaynerchuk encourages you to take a step back. Consider what your intent was with any social media campaign or initiative that you have taken part of. If the motivator was clicks and likes, or was it to create a brand identity and build connection with customers? If your answer is clicks and likes, then Vaynerchuk explains that this is why you likely failed. And this is actually true. And I think, this is just the exact same thing that happened to me. I just made this post because I was expecting more likes and more engagement with that. But if I just, it's the same thing. Just success is only a byproduct of things. It's this byproduct of being able to pretty good solve a problem of your customers, or being able to just, make them, give them value and so on and so on. If I'm able to communicate more through creative designs and creative ways of just, showing what my intent is, then I think it's good. Just showing, okay, I love you, I like you, I'm just happy to have you and so on. It's good if I just have, new designs and whatever to emphasize it. So I deeply feel what he means. Customers can see through you. Vaynerchuk explains that in order to reach the right people, you need to create a lasting impression and evoke emotion. This is where social media can be extremely powerful. If you can tap into that emotion, customers are more likely to share your products and brand. Provide them with content worth discussing, worth sharing, and let them to the hard work. Okay. Social media works best when you evoke an emotion in the people to whom you're reaching out. This is, I think, generally nowadays a thing in social media. or general marketing, you should always be evoking emotions because, emotions sell. This is the funny thing. I've been commenting on another person's post about this. This is why I think a lot of perfumery brands do just have either really pumped up just men in the commercials or their ads, or really just beautiful women in them. Because I think like they just want to show or just create the feeling of, okay, if you buy my shit, if you buy this perfumery and spray it on you, you will be like this pumped up guy, or you will be that sexy like this girl, or whatever. I think they just sell the pretty much feeling of being the person, of being that man, of being that woman. What's the time? It's 40. I think the yeah, the innovation thing, I really want to go through this because I'm pretty looking forward to see what he wants to say in that. So you need to be innovative. Innovative. If marketers commit to thank you economy principles, wholeheartedly relocate their marketing resources properly, and find ways not only to take advantage of the best that social media and traditional media have to offer, but also to actually pay them off each other, they will see an incredible return on any investment they make. As Vaynerchuk discusses early in the book, customers' expectations have changed dramatically. If your business wants to meet the needs of customers, you're going to have to be creative, innovative, and above all, personal. It's also important to remember that just as customers' expectations have changed in the past, they are likely to change again. Vaynerchuk explains that it's up to you as a business to innovate and to be ahead of the game. When you see the needs changing, adapt to meet them as soon as possible. Your goal should be to know what the customer wants before they know it themselves, which is just incredibly hard, I think. And it then, I think, just comes down to consumer behavior and all these things that I'm particularly interested in. And I will probably just, look for ways to learn more on it, I guess, in my leisure time. And maybe if I find something that's really worth about talking or worth showing you, I will definitely do, or just put it in my Instagram post. So stay tuned for them. So generally my Instagram posts, social media posts, sorry. So all businesses must innovate to survive. Therefore, I think it is a good way to just, change up my design routine, changing up how my post look like, and all these things. And with this being said, I think I will just stop this episode or just pause this episode. I'm pretty much sorry for the last episode to stop so rapidly, but there was something going on and I didn't want to be too loud and didn't want to be quite heard actually. But with this being said, I'm pretty much sorry for the glitches I can just see right now, which they may be great effects, by the way. They may seem a little bit cool or some way, but yeah. I hope you have a wonderful day. Success, wealth, health, happiness. I hope you're giving back something, because this is also important, and have a great legacy. And with this being said again, I'll see you the next time.